I don't know. It also depends on the whole entire culture of your community. Some communities are more welcoming to microtransactions than others. World of Warcraft is one that isn't too welcoming to it. Or like OSRS, it is absolutely not welcoming to it, and that's why they would never implement anything like that. I just wanted to, I wanted to stream. Figured playing games all the time, so might as well.
It must be so.
I gotta find my groove. Cause I really enjoy doing the streams on like Saturdays. Those are the funnest ones. But I think it's because like the Discord's open and everything.
We'll try and rendezvous on the ramparts.
Just from the Bijou farming?
Thank goodness you arrived when you did, heroes.
And all the
Orgrim's
random
hammer has already left.
other
Quickly
BOEs.
now, to the Skybreaker. If you leave soon, you may be able
I've
to
just
catch
been
them.
milking all you guys mealy. Oh yeah. You guys were talking business one night. I remember that. But he wanted like 500 gold for 10 runs.
You'll have my thanks. We were outnumbered.
See, I'm too cheap. I'm way too cheap. And I got a world drop.
We'll secure the area.
A worthy world drop, or just like one of those ones that's like, could have been something else. God damn. I'm assuming he has a mage as like a main.
Fire up the engines. We got a meeting with Destiny.
Non-mage people can't afford shit like that. That's... Although right now... Mage. No, like, I mean, like, not boosting a mage. Like, I mean he has a mage. So he can make money, so he can afford to pay for mage boosts. True. I know there's a couple people on our server like that.
What in the world is that?
As we can all plainly see, I do not buy gold. And if I do buy gold, I'm doing it the wrong way, obviously.
Evasive action! Man the guns!
I don't know how I feel about it sometimes. I have mixed feelings of gold buying.
Cowardly Brittany, I didn't warn you, scoundrels! Onward, brothers and sisters!
Most part, it's pretty
What's
negative.
this, then?
I'm not a
You won't be
big
taking this son of iron.
fan of it. I think it kind of devalues.
You think you are, mister. But I got a score to settle with Arthas. And you're not getting in.
See, I don't know.
Fire! All guns! Fire!
I like... It is. I think it becomes harder for Blizzard to kind of figure things out like that. Because, like, back in the day of vanilla, if someone was walking around with 6k gold on them, you'd be like, oh yeah, that guy's either like selling gold, he's buying gold, like he's got some bot operation. But nowadays, like 6k is just pretty common. Like, let's say I don't even have a mage. I have over 2k gold, basically. I have over 3k gold in all my funds. And I'm not even a mage. So, like, bigger numbers are more relevant now, so I think it's a little bit harder from... Like, how do I know that Lurky isn't just spent... Like, you made 3k gold on Monday, so you want to send that over to Lurky because you want it on that account. Well, you could look like a gold seller all of a sudden because you've just traded a large sum of money over. So I think Blizzard becomes a little more hesitant on doing things. If they could keep a chokehold. I think they need to make some form of like a blacklist or some way to like figure it out, because they should, I don't know, like they should have some way to indicate that the one account that has Daddy Donk on it and the other account that has Lurky on it are still owned by the same people. Like they should have some linking like that by like credit card, or you think they would have some kind of technology that, well, at the same time, it's a multi-dollar company, like it's always said. They can't afford all that. True. Yeah, and then Guildbank's even diluted even more. But yeah, like, everyone just walks around, like, with so much money nowadays. because the people just know how to make money. And yeah, you don't even need to be a mage to be a big player, and then yeah, like that would really suck. And imagine all the messages of like, yeah, you send 3k over to Lurky, you wake up the next morning, your account's banned. Sorry, you're a gold seller. You sold gold to someone. It's like, no, I didn't. And then you have all the finicky transact. Yeah. True. Yeah, the Discord transactions and everything, and you're allowed to buy. Can you buy? Or is that? I thought that was only in. I thought that was only in China, because I know China has the gold token, because their whole entire culture of gaming is completely different. Oh damn! I like that. I that is the one. Well, probably the only benefit I like of the gold token is that, like, if I work hard being a sweaty neckbeard, I can pay for my month's subscription with in-game currency. I like that idea, but there's a lot of negative consequences from it. Oh, okay, I get that. Okay, so yeah. You sell me gold, and then I log into retail, and then I go with my credit card, I go buy you a token, and then I just trade you that token over in some form of even currency. Okay, that makes sense. ICC, but we're on the mage, we're not on my warrior. Okay, that makes sense. Easy peasy. I feel I would like to see what the Chinese servers look like their inflation prices, and how much an average thing cost comparison, because they have the gold token implemented, which adds inflation. It's hyperinflated. Yeah, that's what I would assume. A Black Lotus is 400 gold or something like that. But the whole entire mentality of Chinese gaming is different. It's all about getting the edge on any means possible. It's about being a winner. And it doesn't matter how you became a winner. It just matters that you won. At the end of the day, it's so much different than Western culture. And that's the only reason it's in China. Is because they were not going to stop. I don't know, I hate pay to win. I think it just devalues everything everyone else does. The only time I ever like microtransaction is in a free game. I can see why. And it's profitable doing it. Fortnite's a good example of it. It's a free game. I could just download it right now and never have to pay a penny ever. And that's nice, but it does make you incentivize you too. I think GTA was the big one for it. They the online. They made $1.2 billion in 1 year from just shark cards. It was absurd. And then everyone started to realize that it was better to make a free-to-play game and then put microtransactions inside, because people don't think about that as much. They're more inclined to spend $80 on microtransactions than $60 on a game. Unless you're Blizzard. Then they just triple dick you. They find every orifice that they can possibly do and they fuck you that way. Buy the base game, buy the subscription, buy the microtransactions.
The Horde commander at the Wrath Gate. Such a tragic end. What in the? There in the distance.
I don't know. It also depends on the whole entire culture of your community. Some communities are more welcoming to microtransactions than others.
Looks like
World of Warcraft is one that isn't too welcoming to it. Or like OSRS. It is absolutely not welcoming to it, and that's why they would never implement anything like that.
I need to get closer.
Because they already do their one piece of thing. They do you on a subscription fee for membership. I think that was the first subscription-based game I ever had. Was RuneScape.
will keep me from him.
It was a whole different thing, but yeah, like I like the way that RuneScape did theirs. It was a low subscription fee, and you gotta like triple the game's content. But still, you could play the game for free and still have a ton of fun.
Stand down, Muradin. Let a grieving thought pass.
Nowadays, I find, at least like with Blizzard and stuff, they can't just make standalone content. They have to like entice you in some way. Look at it. It's like a really insecure girl in high school. You know what I mean? Like does any means to you know make themselves seem better. Even if their product is perfectly fine. Not saying Blizzard is, but it's like the 6 months, adding like things on top of it for the 6 months just to kind of hoax you in. It's like, shouldn't your game just be good enough that I don't need to get a mount or anything? Shouldn't I just wanna pay you guys money?
I was not at the battle.
Like back in the day?
The soldiers who survived.
World of Warcraft?
Much of what happened. Your son fought with honor. He died a hero's death.
Ending Classic is a good example of standalone content. Oh, they probably got a ton. I bet you it's like if you saw someone like just leveling normally, I bet you that's like the weirdest thing to see in the world.
Jaina, why are you crying?
I just have this weird fantasy of what it is in my head. You know what I mean? It's just bots just automatically running everywhere. They just make quick 90-degree turns. No one's a real person anymore.
Proud of my king.
The bots are being boosted by the bots.
Muradin, secure the deck and prepare our soldiers for an assault on the upper citadel. I'll send
Because
out
I've seen a couple like Twitch streams and stuff like that from like Korea and stuff, like South Korean streamers. I don't know, I just know that they're raiding. I don't understand anything anyone's saying, but it is interesting.
Terrible news, everyone. Rotface is dead. But great news, everyone. He left behind plenty of ooze for me to use.
But because don't the Chinese servers have some like really fast, like some of the fastest speedruns? Or is that just European ones that I'm thinking of? I thought the Chinese servers had like really fast runs too. Like they were actually like really, really good at speedrunning. I'm sure you can find it basically anywhere you go, but because I thought it was. Yeah, I know Europeans are like super sweaty. Those guys are insane. Well, it kind of makes sense though. It's that whole entire thing of, well, when I was leveling my warrior, it's like, well, why don't you just boost? Why don't you just go from 10 to 60 and just boost it the whole entire way? And it's like, you can tell a player who's boosted, they're just not comfortable playing their class. It's like when I go do PvP and I can fear a warrior and he doesn't put up a berserker stance or anything, and he just aimlessly runs away feared. It's like, that's a little sad. That's a little sad right there. If you literally are a warrior and you get feared more than 5 feet away from me, there's something wrong, and I assume you're boosted. Because think about it, they don't do the quest lines or anything to go get berserker stance. I've seen stuff like that. And so I feel like if the whole entire community is based off of just boosting, there's probably only a finite amount of people, and they're probably the boosters that are like any good. as this whole entire Western culture is, you play hard and you be a real gamer and you get farther, and that's the way it works. I like that. Hard work pays off. So I've never been big into the boosting scene, but
I've perfected a plan.
50 to 60, I think by then you kind of have the grasp of what your class is for the most part.
One room.
Mostly in classic, like there's not too much complexity. Warriors, that's why I like it, just because there's a little bit extra button pushing. You know what I mean? More than my warlock. Like I can play my warlock with complexity, but at the end of the day, it's really mostly a single button. If I'm farming, I can add complexity to it. But I just find a lot of the time when you're just on the warrior, no matter what you do, it has like just a little bit more. Not saying like it's complicated or anything, I'm just saying it's more buttons. More things to think about. But that's also the thing without boosting, is you can kind of figure out little intricacies of your class more than someone who just boosted. When you just boost a warrior, you're like, I know, I hit with sword. And you're kind of a caveman. When you've done it this whole entire time, it's like, oh, well, I'll stance a little bit. I was gonna say not use overpowered, I was always use overpowered. You might be using Rend if you got boosted on an actual boss. You want that? You want a bunch of warriors rending things? That's super bleed damage. But yeah, I don't know. Never been a fan. But at the same time, there's other things too, like boosting adds different things into the economy. You know what I mean? I feel like the bigger the economy is on a server, the more likely there is a bunch of boosting and stuff like that. Because I don't... What is it called when you do the MC runs or the BWL runs? Everyone pools in money and you buy stuff and people come out with like abnormal amounts of fucking money. It's like the GDKP or whatever it is. Yeah. Okay, I did have it right. Yeah, like when you like, I don't even think, does our server even run any things like that? I think maybe a couple. But I feel like the more of those kinds of things that you have, yeah, see? And that's probably why all of our stuff is so much lower, is because those kinds of runs add such high inflation and make the whole entire... It almost makes like a real life situation where most of the people are poor and just a few of the top few are like the fucking prime top and they own all the money. They dictate all the prices on everything, and then everyone lower needs to deal with it. And the more of those runs that are in a server, the more of that happens. And I think with our server, it's pretty displaced, the wealth's displaced pretty nicely. There is a lot of people who have a lot of money and a lot more money than others, but I feel like it's pretty fair ground that generally if you have 700, 800 gold on you, you're okay on our server. If you came to 700, 800 gold and you were on a white main server or a Faralina server, that could be, or Herod, it could be completely different, right?
Foolish mortals.
Because they have so many of those runs and everything becomes so diluted and there's a lot of rich people. I wish we did have a GDKP run though. I was thinking of that. I just don't think there's anyone with big enough bank accounts to do it. Like, I'm pretty sure I'd have to give up my whole entire bank to even like enter into it.
Power the orb. Valinor will have his vengeance. Blood will flow.
I always thought that was probably one of the most interesting things in World of Warcraft, ever since I was even a little kid. Because I like economics. and stuff like that. And I thought this was like the coolest thing. Mostly when Classic started, it was like, it's a baby economy. Like, think about real life. Like, you were born and an economy was running already. Things were high, things were low, and then they fluctuated through. But when you birthed yourself, in a sense, into like Classic, it was a fresh economy. There was no money, basically. And then just to see like the operation of how money is transferred into there. Like, every vendor is basically like a printer of money, in a sense. And all those grays and everything start to add up, and you can just see inflation. You used to be able to get like things that go for 200 gold on the server now for like 5 gold at the very beginning, because that was a ton of fucking money. You were rolling around with 1k gold at the very beginning of Classic, you were rich. You run around with 1k gold now, it's like, you're playing a fine line around here. You think you're gonna make it all the way? And so I think those are the most interesting things at the very beginning. And this is what got me into RuneScape. I was like a 11-year-old kid, and I figured out that if I bought like all the pineapples, or like all the fruit on one thing, and I was buying them for like 2 coins at a pop right there, and I buy thousands of them, and there was no more resources left, that the price of them would shoot up and I could dictate prices. I was becoming like a baron by the age of like 12. But I've always liked, I think those are the games that I stay in the longest, is a game with like a real running economy in there, because I think it feels more like real life in a sense. As like in a solo game, an item's gonna be worth that amount forever. And it's like, ooh, I got this, but I don't know. I don't get excited like I play The Witcher, I don't get excited about loot as much. I would say that about Diablo, but at the very beginning, you could actually like make real life money in Diablo. Like that, I think that's running a little too far. It's when like it becomes a real life, like real money economy.
Unwise decision.
Monopoly. Monopoly is the original, man.
But we're all getting along.
So I like Monopoly too. I just don't like how long Monopoly runs for. They call me the Monopoly Man. That's life though. Life is a game of Monopoly basically. You can't deny that Monopoly isn't a great game either too though.
Ready your arms, my argent brothers.
Any game that can ruin a family, it's gotta have some depth to
You're
it.
dying here, spending another day collecting reagents for that madman Finkelstein.
Enough idle banter.
Champions have arrived. Support them as we push our way through the hall. Quickly, push on!
You may have once fought